This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. And I come on YouTube today to discuss being stalked by pro-ICE and pro-Trump MAGAS. And one small group in particular. The fake Pentagon pedophile task force has been stalking me for years, making outlandish claims of me being a supporter of pedophilia and all kinds of nonsense. They also accuse me of being the dead James Whitey Bulger, a gangster from New England, who briefly turned FBI informant and was subsequently murdered in prison. And the individual who is the star of this group has a arrest warrant for failing to appear in court to answer 4 charges of stalking a woman in Florida. And the order of protection was placed against him, ordering him to stop bothering her, which he ignores to this day. The individual claims to be a war correspondent and considers himself the most important person around. Claims to have solved numerous crimes by blaming total strangers of these crimes with no evidence at all. And picks on me almost exclusively through his subordinates. One being this person that calls itself Truth Destroyer. Now, the Truth Destroyer is an individual that has been a fan of Trump and of this individual and group for over a decade. And this individual does not have the respect to observe the First Amendment right of anyone who decides to disagree with them. This individual has gone after a number of individuals with filthy videos, filthy pictures, filthy commentary, in outright defamation and slander. This individual hides behind this Truth Destroyer meme, is unwilling to confirm who we all know who she is. Basically, she's a spinster who has been completely shut out by her family. She has no friends other than the group that she supports, and even then they're false friends because they all think she's crazy, and they don't like the fact that she represents herself as part of the group. They disavow her, they don't post her content, and so forth. Now, prior to 2026 and late 2025, this individual stopped bothering me. I was able to continue live streaming, posting videos, posting on X, maintaining my prior level of online presence. Not very successfully. I am an extremely small, if not one of the smallest, social media channels on YouTube. Minimal of any attention is paid to me by anyone. About the most success I've had is over on TikTok, and that has been minimal compared to how others are doing over there, both in my point of view and in the point of view of MAGA. Those individuals are able to garner a larger audience. I'm not a professional live streamer. I'm not very talented in what I do. So that is the biggest explanation of why I don't have such a major audience. However, what I do have is an opinion and a platform to voice that opinion, at least for now. And this is what is bothering this individual and the group that she is part of. They cannot stand the fact that I don't agree with them and that I go off and I post my own points of view. Now, that's just too darn bad for them. But I have a bias, and my bias is that I am anti-ICE. I consider them unprofessional, sloppy, have less than minimal training, and refuse to follow due process and obey the Constitution and the laws of the United States. They have killed at least 5 people since their intrusion into various cities throughout the country with their criminal actions. 2 people were killed within the space of a week and within a mile of each other in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This has caused a tremendous amount of anger with the public and with multiple demands that ICE stop doing what they're doing and leave. One of the first arguments that these people make is, well, what about Joe Biden and what about Barack Obama? They deported illegals, undocumented. Yes, they did. And people disagreed with them, and some agreed with them. But the main difference is that Biden and Obama followed the law. They used due process. And as a result, they deported more illegal aliens than Trump has since he's been president the first time and the current time. And the reason is that he has got people so scared that they go into hiding. Now, I believe in legal immigration. I don't support people being here in violation of the law. But there is a way to both work towards a path of legality and also, where necessary, to deport these people without beating the crap out of them, torturing them, and putting children and babies in concentration camps. This sort of thing should not be done in this country, but this is where we are. We are beating people up, murdering them, denying them due process, defaming them on social media, doxing them, and doing all sorts of criminal things against these people. And The people on the right don't seem to care. The ends justifies the means in their minds. Now, what's ironic about all this is people are starting to fight back. And they're fighting back using constitutionally allowed rights to do so. And one right they're fighting back with is the Second Amendment. They're carrying weapons. The Black Panthers reignited their movement and are patrolling certain areas in the country with AK-47s. And another ironic thing is the man that was killed in Minneapolis a short while ago was exercising his Second Amendment rights. He was carrying a weapon. He had a license to carry. Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota is open carry. You have the right to carry a firearm on your person. You have a right to have a concealed weapon. And when ICE discovered that he was exercising his Second Amendment rights, they executed him. Now, he did not take his firearm out of his belt. He did not point it at anybody. He didn't even have his hands on his gun. What he was holding in his hand was a cell phone, which is why they accosted him in the first place, because they feared the truth. They feared a man with a camera. And the MAGAs seem to ignore this fact and make up excuses. But here's the thing. And this is astonishing, what's come out. For years, MAGA has berated the Democrats, Biden, Obama, and Michelle for wanting to take away their rights to bear arms. And I meant Kamala. They said, these Democrats are going to take your guns. They're going to confiscate your guns. They're going to take away your Second Amendment rights. So what happens? ICE murders someone with a concealed weapon, legally permitted to do so, followed the law, and they killed him for it. Then they come out and say, you shouldn't be bringing a gun to a protest. Well, remember Kyle Rittenhouse, who actually killed 2 people in a protest in a state that he didn't live in. He came all the way over to kill 2 people in a protest. And MAGA backed him up. That's the ironic thing here. And this is a point to be made. The rules, apparently, only apply to MAGA and to pro-Trumpers. They do not apply to anyone else. On the issue of immigration, there's been highly detailed evidence posted that point to the fact that both Donald Trump, his father, and his current wife violated immigration laws. That Mrs. Trump is here illegally. She lied to get into this country. Yet we don't hear cries from MAGA and the Republicans for her to be deported. And we have Ted Cruz, who's an anchor baby. He was born in Canada. has dual citizenship, or did have. There's example after example after example of MAGA Republicans who are here illegally. Elon Musk is another one whose status in this country is questionable. He came from South America and violated the law, yet he's still here. There's no calls for his deportation. And he is someone who came up from a country that advocated white supremacy and slavery, wants to impose those values on people here. And it's just strange that the rules only apply to those who disagree with Trump and the Republicans. But at some point, it's going to result in one of two things. Either the United States is going to become a dictatorship and we're only going to have one point of view for the rest of eternity, or people are finally going to understand what is going on and put a stop to the extremists in the Republican Party. Now, I'm not advocating we have a Democrat-only society. There's plenty of problems within the Democratic Party, especially on the extreme left. But because of what's been going on, we can't have extreme right-wing politicians in the government. They have to be voted out. And people need to start following the rule of law, the Constitution, and the way our country is designed to run. We ignore the laws of this country at our peril. And it's this point of view that's got me stalked and threatened by this group of individuals from the state of Minnesota, from Canada, and elsewhere. Now, I'm going to continue to cover ICE protests when I'm able to. I'm going to post on X, I'm going to post on Facebook, I'm going to post on other social media. The threats be damned. So if you pick up a newspaper someday or watch TV and somebody says that a person that used to be known as Witness 1 has died, it's a good probability that it was supporters of Trump, supporters of MAGA, and the PPTF that carried out my execution. This is William T. Murtaugh, Witness 1. Catch you later and have a good one.